going on, YouTube? Tom here, and let me tell you, it has been a long week for me. I had a test this week. My truck was just in the shop. Oh, I'm telling you, it's been pretty long of a week. Anyway, while I was at the Toyota dealer getting my truck fixed, just trying to get this camera to stop vibrating. Alright, you know what? It's what YouTube editing is for. Anyway, while I was at the Toyota dealer, I checked out a couple of the new cars. That's what I usually do, right? You check them out. You see what they've got. You just look. They know I'm not going to buy. They always try to sell me something, but I tell them every time I can't afford anything new, and I've got a vehicle that works. And of course, they always make these claims of, we'll get you into a brand new blankety blank for X amount, and of course, the prices aren't necessarily the most true. So, I'm coming on to another little topic I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about MSRP. Why it's never the price you actually pay for a brand new car. So, let's talk about some of the factors in MSRP. What is it? Why is the price always mostly higher, but sometimes even lower? And it's just, yeah. So anyway, first things first, MSRP. Manufacturer's suggested retail price. Some bean counter somewhere said, that's the price we're going to put on the car. This is what the car company, in this, in my case, what I usually seem to deal with most is Toyota, has said that's what the car should ideally cost. Now, the first thing they do with MSRP is you start factoring in options. Alright, in the case of Toyota specifically, and some car companies have done this and some haven't, is floor mats are an option, for example, where all of a sudden you have floor mats that you need to get put in the car, and then you have to pay for that, and then the price goes up. In the case of a Tacoma, first thing they do is you gotta get a tow package, which is an extra $700. All of a sudden, that MSRP is higher and you didn't even realize it. So then we start talking about, well, you look at a car, first thing they do is they tell you, oh, you gotta pay the destination fee, or, delivery fee. It's essentially the same price, but it's the different name depending on the car company. But it's a $900 fee, non-negotiable, they put on every car. And of course, basically what they're saying is, for us to deliver the car to the dealer, it's costing that much. And whether it's accurate or not, oh well, you have to pay it. Alright, that's $900 on every car, regardless. And then of course, depending on the state you live in, varies on the amount, but then you have sales tax. Of course, that's upwards of, in Florida, where I live, it's 7%, so it's not terrible, and there's places that are higher, but there's also places that are lower. And there's even some states that are lucky enough where you don't even have to pay sales tax, which I'm jealous of, because that'd be like the one thing make Florida a perfect state, is if we didn't have to pay sales tax. Well, other than the heat and the old people, it'd be perfect. We don't get emissions inspections and all that on our cars, and we don't have to run a front plate here. Hey, just pointing out the facts. It's Florida. So anyway, you pay that. And obviously the first thing these dealers want you to do is they want you to pay their dealer fees. So like my Toyota dealers, they're fairly upfront with their dealer fees. They call it a price adjustment fee, and it's $200. Kind of a lie, or not $2,000, I should say, $2,500. They put it on every new car, everything from a base model Corolla all the way up to the loaded Tundras. Of course, the first thing you know is when you negotiate, you don't pay that, but obviously they want to put that in their prices. When they start talking about the price you pay at the dealership, all of a sudden it goes way up. And example I like to use when talking about MSRP is, let's take the base Corolla, for example. Pretty simple car. Everyone loves Corollas. Well, love them or hate them. They're what everyone can afford. Everyone can afford one, pretty much. My only time I've ever driven a Corolla, I hated it, and it was my excuse to work hard, because I don't want to drive a Corolla ever again. It was awful. More on that in another video. Anyway, the base price listed from Toyota.com is $18,500. Take it or leave it, that's the base price on a Corolla. Alright, obviously, when it comes to the Corolla, that's not what they really cost. They cost over $20,000 usually. And where does that money go? Well, first of all, as I mentioned, floor mats are a thing. You have to pay for floor mats. That's $100, number one. Number two, that's the base model, specifically the base trim level, which I believe is the Corolla L right now. Obviously, first thing you do is you want to get the higher trim level. That adds money. And then if you want all these other options, you know, your various things they add in, like navigation, etc., 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 that's money. So then by the time you're looking at it, you know, $20,000 just for the price of the car and floor mats, as I mentioned. Alright, well then they add that destination charge. That's another $900. So right there, that's already pretty close to $20,000 just in all the price of these options. And then you, of course, factor in the dealer fee. Now, obviously, like I said, you're not going to pay it in the real world because no one pays that. $2,500, that's $22,000 something. And then you add in sales tax, that's nearly $24,000 there, right there alone in the price of an $18,000 500 Corolla. Now, number one, like I said, you're not going to pay the dealer fee. I'll say this again. When they add in things like the $2,500 price adjustment, what is the first thing you should do? Not pay it. Tell them that. You say, I'm not paying that. Most of the time, you're right. You're not going to pay it. That's something they just put in, hoping you'll pay it, and you never will. I'll try to tighten this little piece here on my camera mount. New camera mount, so it's still getting used to it just a little bit. Second, when you go to a dealer, first thing they're going to do, obviously, is rebates are a pretty common thing. You catch it on sale, that's going to take some price out. You know, of course, in my case, I get the military discount. It's usually $500, and most dealers are patriotic enough to say we'll match that, and that's $1,000. Or you also odd times they use the college graduate discount, where it's the same thing, $500, and then the dealers match it, and it turns into $1,000. Dealers like to do that to try to incentivize buying it. So then you've got things like that, and then, like I said, catch it on sale. They're gonna say, well, I rent out for $1,000 off, and that's a good deal. And then of course you're gonna negotiate. And of course, we go back to the Corolla example. They're so common. You just tell them, like, hey, I know you're making a killing off of that one, and I just, instead of paying $18,000 for that price, I'll pay you $16,000. Half the time they'll take it because they know they're still making money on that. And some cars, you know, we're talking things like a Corolla, which is the proletariat everyday car. Now, if we talk about things like the Shelby GT350, the massively marked up car, of course, that's one of those where if you tell them I'm not paying the markup, first thing they're going to tell you is, okay, get the hell out. That's what they do a lot of times on more expensive types of cars. And then they know, sometimes when they put these markups, they know they'll go in and then people will just buy it blindly, not even realizing that there's a cheaper option. And of course, also, sometimes dealers have known in the past, some people don't like them because they lose deals over some of these dollar amounts they put. Which I want to share you all a little story coming from my dad. Now, of course, we've had Tacomas since literally I was a baby. That's when my dad bought his first Tacoma, because it had just come out. That was 1996. It was the first year ever for Tacomas. So my parents, at the time, they had an old Nissan truck. It was worn out, and it was like, oh, time for a new truck. At the time, my dad loved Toyotas, and this new Tacoma looks pretty good. So at the time, we had a Toyota dealer really only a few miles from our house. Just right down the street, basically. So we go to this Toyota dealer at the time, and then, of course, the first thing is, like I said, floor mats. It's Toyota's antiquated system of making you pay extra for floor mats. Not even other car companies have dropped the system since this. But anyway, so we go into the floor mats. The salesman is like, okay, yeah, no problem. You don't have to pay for them, fine. It's my dad, of course. That's the first thing he does is negotiate. He said, I'm not paying the $150 for floor mats. It's ridiculous. So the salesman is like, okay, no problem. You're going to put them in yourself. My dad at the time, now keep in mind, my dad's like, no, you're going to put them in for me. I got a baby at home I need to take care of. Yours truly. Anyway, some stuff happens. They're arguing. My dad actually took the check, ripped it up in front of the salesman, threw the pieces down, and walked out. True story. That really happened. I don't remember it, but I've heard the story so many times, I'm fully aware of it happening. So either way, they walk out. There's another, luckily, town we lived in, we had two Toyota dealers. He goes across town. They agreed to put it in at the reduced price my dad offered them. So we ended up with a brand new red 96 Tacoma. Didn't even realize that when we got this truck. I was like, wow, we just got the same truck basically again, another red Tacoma. So either way, that's a case where the dealers, they love to push for money as hard as possible. They want to convince you for certain options, and sometimes they are a complete rip-off. So that was one of those cases where the dealer was just not willing to negotiate price, and they lost a sale over it. And of course, probably that's why in the modern times you look at where Ford, I know specifically because I've been looking at a Mustang, Ford specifically does not charge extra for floor mats. They actually include floor mats in the price of the car. Now, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it's up for debate. Now, I personally think that's a really good thing, because obviously they're not going to lose a sale over floor mats. But when we talk about negotiating cars, it's always a hairy topic, and that's why car dealers, car salesmen are probably one of the least trusted people in the world. They have this notorious reputation like that for things they do. My dad still talks about the floor mats to this day. He will mention that story over and over again. They lost a sale over floor mats. So let me know in the comments what you think. What about my take on car dealers? MSRP. Let me know what you think about MSRP. And of course, I know I'm going to get the comments that they're going to say MSRP is too high, buy used. So let me know in the comments below what you all think. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. If you're stopping in for the first time, please subscribe. I would love to grow my channel. And have a good day.